everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, April 12th, 2026. Wow. Malcolm coming back into town to announce that he is dying has really gotten in the way of me getting my Shamar Moore Malcolm crush on. I wanted to get my crush on this week. It's kind of hard to be like, ooh, look at those eyes, while he's fighting for his life. He did look good in those stonewashed jeans, though. Stonewashed jeans with a blue jean jacket. It was jean on jean. Only he could pull that off. And his voice seemed a little bit deeper, too. He sounded maybe a little congested. I was wondering if maybe he had a sore throat. Like, do you need some Halls, some honey lemon tea, a little eucalyptus oil? Is there anything I can do for you, Malky? Uncle Malcolm? That was a weird trigger for me, because he used to be Lily's Uncle Malcolm. But now he is fully Father Malcolm. It is Father Malcolm now. Oh, I really have to admire Stephanie's efficiency. I mean, she told the whole story to Holden and Malcolm at the same time. No need for two separate conversations. I mean, we do not even have time for two conversations about this. It was like, Malcolm, meet your son. Holden, meet your dad. He's got sickle cell anemia, and we need your stem cells to save his life. That is a pretty big ask for someone who you don't know. Things are really moving fast. We're just like skipping straight over the paternity test on this one and going straight to, are you a stem cell match? Okay, I like Stephanie a lot. She had me at Audrey. I have never seen Audra get so dominated so quickly. It was almost alarming. Mama Bear came in and she saw Holden and Audra arguing and immediately jumped into her son's defense. Secrets? Well, I never. Now let's talk about your real dad. Aw, poor Jerry. Dr. Jerry totally accepted Stephanie being pregnant with another man's child, then agreed to keep the secret and just raise Holden as his own, and then, out of the blue, struck by a lightning bolt. That figures. Only the good die young, Dr. Jerry. Well, I actually thought that Stephanie explained herself very well. I bought it completely. It just seems like something that would happen, especially on a soap. She and Malcolm had a brief courtship, dating, other things. And then they decided to part ways. And she didn't want to weigh him down with a baby. And also, she had met a man who accepted her and accepted her child and was wanting to be with her. So why let a little thing like the truth stand in the way? Ruin it all. Plus, Stephanie thought about telling Malcolm the truth. She's thought about telling everybody the truth, but then she heard that Malcolm was dead. Love that reference. And by the time Malcolm was alive again, she had already resolved it. So there was really no need to go and disrupt everything. Until now, I was actually really hoping that the whole who's a match thing would have dragged out a while longer. It's rare that I actually wish something would go on longer. Usually a storyline drags. But this was like over too soon. Early in the week, I was like, ooh, Lily and Holden will be discovering that they are brother and sister, and we can have this big dramatic moment where we find out which one of them wins. But no, Lily was taken out of the running almost immediately because she had had cancer. She had cancer years back. And I guess once you have cancer treatment, that must negatively affect the stem cells, or it somehow makes them unsuitable or makes her an unsuitable donor. But then one day later, it was revealed that Holden isn't a match either. I don't know. All this moved way too quickly, don't you think? It's just like, over and done, but very dramatic. I mean, in that way, it's kind of nice. There was a lot of dramatic moments for the week. And plus, now we're moving on to testing the twins. But I kind of don't think that that's really going to go anywhere either. Because for a minute, I thought, oh, wait, maybe this is going to lead to Maddie and or Charlie returning to Genoa City. But I looked and I didn't see any casting updates about that. So who's going to save Malcolm's life? Who's it going to be? Surely someone will be able to step up and save this world famous photographer. I mean, surely he has got friends all over the place. There should be people lined up around the block to get tested, even if they're not, the best chances for a match. I mean, someone he knows must be a match. I would get tested myself to save Malcolm's life if I could, right? I don't know. Maybe that's my ultimate test. Allie, you love Malcolm, but do you love him enough to give him your stem cells? Dun dun dun! Well, it's a good thing Lily and Holden never slept together. I have said many times that I think Lily and Holden should hook up. And it almost seemed like they were circling each other for just a minute there. But I guess now we know why it never panned out. I feel like Y&R probably knew all along that they were going to twist it this way. I mean, it's obvious when you think about it. Malcolm shaves his head. Holden's got that tight haircut. The genetic connection is clear when you think about it in retrospect. But Devon shaves his head too. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is kind of awkward, I guess, for Lily and Holden, but it doesn't really change anything. I mean, all it really means is that Holden's gonna be invited to the Winters family Thanksgiving feast this year. That's all it really means. Maybe he'll get a position within the family company. But I mean, it's not that dramatic yet. I think it's a good thing. It makes me worried for Nate. Because, I mean, he's not as prominent as he was. He's not getting as much story as he was. And now there's a new hunk in the Winters family? That seems to me like competition. It was kind of weird that Audra was creeping around the corner, eavesdropping on Claire lulling Holden into a friendship so that she can discover his murder secret. Oh, no, never mind. She's past that. But I'm just thinking, what is Audra going to do with this information? Lily and Holden are both Malcolm's kids. What's it matter to her? Audra needs to be more concerned about Sienna. I mean, if Audra has a couple more run-ins with Noah, Sienna's going to be the one to go digging for that secret. And considering Sienna was the one who was able to dig up Matt Clark's connection to Riza in Vegas, Sienna might not fail to find out this secret the way Claire did. Oh my gosh. Chelsea is going to fly to Vegas and she's going to walk in on Adam locking lips with Riza. You know it. You know it's true. It's coming. Chelsea had a dream, nay, a premonition, that Adam had fully transformed into Spider. And she saw him at a poker table. And he was losing and didn't care. And when she looked into his eyes, she saw no Adam, no love, no recognition in his eyes. And now she's going to Vegas. And now she's going to put herself into the middle of this danger when Adam could have prevented it by just shooting her a quick text message. That's all he had to do was say, I'm okay. It could have taken 2 seconds. 5 minutes tops if he decided to call her just so she could hear his voice. No, he's just in the zone and not really doing anything to help her feel okay with the situation back at home, even though he knows she's texting. He didn't say, he just let her keep texting and didn't respond. Well, of course she is going to worry. And Sharon is worrying too. Sharon really should be worrying because Nick is scaring me. I don't know about you guys, but seeing my Nicholas Newman snorting drugs in a bathroom in Las Vegas, it's just too much for me. I mean, I know it's probably hard for everyone. It's, you know, it's gritty. But there is just something about watching someone that you know ingesting hard drugs. That is just like out of my genre preference. I like soapy chaos. Paramount Plus calls it suggestive dialogue and coarse language. That's what it says when it comes up on my screen. Be prepared for suggestive dialogue and coarse language. All right. I know what I like. Smut. Smut is what I like. But this just feels like violence. I'm surprised there's not like a violence tag on it, because it's certainly self-harm. And I don't like it. I have to say, I didn't need that explicit detail. So I want to ask you guys if you feel the same about this. Nick's drug use. Not the fact that it's happening, but the fact that we're seeing him snort the drugs. Is that too dark for daytime? I don't think I have ever seen anyone. I don't know, that feels like it's right to the line of things that I've seen on the show. YRChat.com, why don't you tell me what you think about that? Is it too far? Nick's drug use. Is it too dark for daytime? I mean, daytime has been pretty dark since the beginning, but now Nick is going to be coming face to face with Matt Clark, and not in the way that he planned. He got all, like hopped up and he was ready to just charge Matt. But the plan was to let Adam be the one to draw Matt out as Spider. And then at the last minute, Nick, did all the drugs and then decided that he was just going to walk right into Matt's trap alone. And what did he get? A bag over the head. And next week he's going to be waking up in a warehouse. That is going to be a very harsh come down. Well, I cannot fail to mention how nice it was to see Traci this week pulling double duty. First, talking Lily through her guilt about not being able to save Malcolm's life because Lily had this cancer treatment. And Traci had this really great moment where she reminded Lily that, hey, if you hadn't had that cancer treatment, you wouldn't be here right now. And I guess that was something that Lily hadn't thought of before. She hadn't thought of it in that way before, and so that really resonated with her. But I have a feeling that talking with Diane is not going to be as easy of a sell for Traci. I'm really looking forward to next week seeing Traci lay it down sharp with Diane. She's in the previews, she said something like, well, you faked your own death, so can't you give Jack a little bit of grace? That's unusually aggressive for Traci. She's not usually quite that forward. But she also had a conversation with Jack this week. Traci knows how much Jack loves Diane. She understands that Jack was not in his right mind when the Patty situation occurred. And she encouraged him to fight for his marriage. Now, I'm hard-pressed to say that I don't understand Diane's anger at finding her husband in bed with another woman. But I feel like that anger really needs to be pointed toward Victor or Patty or Victor and Patty. And I want some clarification too. I feel like we need to get to the bottom of exactly what happened that night. Who put the drugs in the drink? I want to know exactly who to blame. But I know one thing for sure. It's not Jack. The Winters family really has their hands full right now. Because also, Devon and Abby are trying to process the fact that the woman who kidnapped their child got no jail time. And I think their reactions are totally rational and totally reasonable. I mean, if they did nothing if they just completely accepted it without question, I feel like that would be unreasonable. Somebody takes my child out of my backyard, I'm gonna want them to do prison time. I don't care if I know them or not. I don't care if it's a friend or not. Like, friend status flies off the table once you walk onto my property and nap my kid. But this is soaps, and not everybody can just go to jail. I mean, if everybody went to jail for every single crazy thing that everybody did, we wouldn't have a cast. I feel like the debate is really good, though. That's what I like about this. It provokes debate, because Devon wants prison time for Mariah, period. And Abby had this really great conversation with Daniel, of all people, who has his own perspective on Mariah and her situation. And so Abby is more taking Mariah's mental health and what's best for Mariah into account. You know, Abby wants to make sure that Mariah is getting the help that she needs as someone who she has had a past relationship with. And Abby is kind of blaming herself too, which feels very realistic. You know, I think you would probably go through that. That would be a thought you'd have. What could I have done? You know, I left him. Man, it's tough though. It's tough because, I mean, the fact is a lot of people in prison, a lot of people who are in prison need mental help, you know, and I think both can be true. You know, I think you could need prison and mental health help at the same time. And there are mental health programs in prisons. You can get counseling, you can get medication, you can get crisis intervention in prison. That's what the reality is for most. So Mariah getting to go to the mental health hotel, the cush one where she probably gets little slippers. I mean, it definitely feels like a luxury. It definitely feels like it would be a light sentence if this were reality, which it is not. But I kind of look forward to Abby and Devon continuing to argue about it. Anything to get them some more screen time. This week I put together a very special retro recap for you. It's a little bit different than my others because I'm exploring the story of how Y&R was created in the first place. I mean, this is one of those things that I think we all think we know, or maybe we've filed it away in our brains 30 years ago and kind of take it for granted. But Bill Bell and Lee Phillip Bell created this show. He wrote for it for a long, long time. Their daughter plays Christine. Their son writes for The Bold and the Beautiful. We all kind of know that information, but there's actually so much more to explore around the story of Y&R. Like, what was going on in 1973 that would make a network want to have a new soap? What was the original concept behind it? Why was Y&R so different? What gave it staying power? And, you know, who are Bill and Lee Bell? I mean, you know, we know these names. We see it every day on every show on the screen, but who are they really? You know, these were the sort of questions I wanted to ask. This was the perspective I sort of wanted to explore, just to kind of take that fresh look at Y&R after all of these years. And if you have some extra time this week, go to yrchat.com and check it out. It's the Y&R origin story, maybe, hopefully, told in a way that you haven't heard before. Well, this is birthday week. Oh my goodness, 2 really important birthdays. I mean, every birthday is important, but I have to say, Diana is a legend. April 17th is her birthday, and I'm so pleased to be able to say happy birthday to you, Diana. And Erica, I mean, April 12th is your birthday. I don't know if you guys know this, but you're both teachers. And your birthday is in the same week. I feel like you guys should connect. And yet, you're already connected. You're connected and you don't even know it. Oh, happy birthday, Diana. Happy birthday, Erica. I hope that you are enjoying some beautiful spring weather and a beautiful spring birthday. Let's talk about Devon and Mariah and Abby and this whole thing. Tavi says, I thought Devon's storyline today was really realistic to what unfortunately happens in the real world. Sometimes you get justice. Oh, sometimes you don't get the justice that you want. Yes, Tavi, that is so true. It's like, justice isn't necessarily for any one person to decide. We may all have our different views on what justice is, but the fact is sometimes you get someone else's version of it. This is what the judge decided. I don't think there's anything Devon's going to do about it. I mean, what's he really going to do about it? The decision is done. There's no going back now unless he wants to sue her in a civil trial or unless he wants to like go vigilante or something. Astra says, yeah, I don't usually agree with Devon, but he's not wrong for wanting prison time for Mariah. If this were some random character that kidnapped Dom, they would have gotten prison time, mental illness or not. I do understand Mariah wasn't in her right mind, but there should be consequences on top of getting help. Victoria says, Abby feels this way too and is struggling with her own mental health. After getting treatment, Mariah should have an additional legal consequence for her actions. Her first consequence is being institutionalized. Devon and Abby are too angry and despondent to realize this is a consequence. Mariah may have gone willingly, but she is not free to leave. Oh, Victoria, that's really smart. That she, you know, she's gone willingly, but she isn't free to leave. I also like that you mentioned that Abby and Devon are also they're going through their whole own mental health thing, right? I mean, they're needing to process this. This is a trauma that they've been through, and I think Lily mentioned that to Devon, you know, I mean, they're going through it too. Dom may never remember this, but Abby and Devon always will. Sherrod says, so what should be done to Victor Newman for having Jack Abbott kidnapped? He wasn't even having a mental health crisis. Oh, touche, Sherrod, touche. Why is it that Mariah should get the prison time for kidnapping Dom, and yet Victor gets nothing for kidnapping Jack? I guess the main difference is that Victor didn't really get caught. Nobody's been able to prove it. And that's where Diane should be directing her anger, right? That's where she should be directing her research. Russell says, I need a Traci in my life. She is so kind, generous, lovely, and almost a perfect person. She probably needs to set up a Lucy Van Pelt style doctor is in psychiatric booth at Crimson Lights for all the GC residents' convenience. Sharon can cover during Traci's lunch break. That's funny because we used to say the same thing about Sharon, didn't we? That she was always just there to counsel everybody else, but Traci does it better somehow. Traci is just, she's like everyone's awesome aunt. That might just be a projection, but I feel like Traci is like the aunt I wish I had. Connie says, a bright light in my day to see Traci in the opening credits, and her time with Jack did not disappoint. She is always open-minded, a good listener, and she's firm and fair in her assessment. I can only hope she gets to speak with Diane. Oh, she will, but it just looked from the previews like Diane was not taking it well. T. Nicole says, I really appreciated Diane telling Kyle that she's entitled to her feelings and that she can have anger toward Victor and Patty, but also Jack. I do think it is way too quick to expect Diane to be in the headspace to even want to work on her relationship with Jack. However, I do not want to see Diane tarnish Kyle's relationship with Jack and how Kyle views his dad as his hero, as well as expect Kyle to take a side, hers or Jack's. Yeah, you're right. I think Diane's entitled to be angry. Yeah, and she's even entitled to move out. It's just, this has really shaken her to her absolute core. And where is Patty, by the way? It seems like Patty showed up twice. She caused this chaos, and then she showed up like twice in her sexy dresses as a follow-up to the chaos, and now she's gone. But we didn't see her this week. So where is she? Because it kind of feels like this whole thing with Patty was just meant to break up Diane and Jack. It was just the kidnapping and the Patty thing were just this quick break for Jack and Diane to create some challenge for them. And now the challenge is remained, but Patty is gone. Is she coming back? I thought so. Diana says, I was looking into the drug, Molly, that Jack was given. I'm guessing that's what it was. I realized my thoughts were wrong about how this works. You can become aggressive and act bizarrely. I have to stick up for Jack now that I have this knowledge. I was thinking exactly what Diane thought, as Jack seemed sober when she walked in on him and Patty. I can understand how Diane would feel seeing what she did, but now I know what it does. Yeah, Diana, we didn't really get clarification on what exactly the drug was, but no matter what, any drug that is in your system, you're not going to just snap back as soon as like the high wears off. I don't think it's like an on and off switch. It's like a roller coaster usually that goes up and then back down. So I think it's reasonable to think that when Diane walked in on him, he may have seemed fine, but that doesn't mean that the drug wasn't very powerful, and it doesn't mean that he wasn't still experiencing the after effects of it. Speaking of drugs, Tavi says, are they not allowed to show drug use? In Nick's bathroom, we saw the credit card to make a line and him checking his nose after snorting the cocaine. Cannot believe I just wrote that sentence. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that sentence. But, now that you mention it, they did film it very cleverly, didn't they? Because we saw the evidence of it. The classic, like a folded up little thing, and then the credit card to cut it. It was like, it couldn't have been more, we get it, over on the side of the counter. But then what we really just saw was him sort of inhaling and then like checking his nose. So they didn't actually show the act. And I think you're probably right that they're not allowed to. That seemed, either they're not allowed to or they didn't want to, but I feel like that would have had to have something to do with the censors. At the end of the day, The Young and the Restless, it goes on to Paramount Plus for those of us who watch online, but it still airs over broadcast TV. And broadcast TV still has rules and regulations and censors that, generally are followed unless you choose to completely ignore them. So I think it probably was technical that they didn't show that. And yet, to me, it was still so graphic. I could not believe what I was seeing. It hit me in a very, I can't believe I'm seeing this on The Young and the Restless kind of way, which is weird because, again, I know The Young and the Restless has gone to some very dark places. We've had rapes and murders and all blood all over the place, things that I don't personally like to see. And so I know it's not the darkest of the dark, but there's just something about, it was implied enough to where I didn't have to see it. I felt it, you know, and it's very powerful visual storyline, visual storytelling. I will give it that. Steven says, yet another kidnapping, another yakking. Who would have guessed the writers would go back to that well again? Just another day in the Newman business, and the real twist, Nick doesn't even need to be drugged. Yeah, Stephen, how about that? Nick did not need to be drugged in order to be dragged away by Matt Clark. Nick kind of took care of that part himself. So all Matt had to do was come in with the old bag over the head and then drag him away, I guess, all by himself. Big beefy Nick getting dragged down the hallway of that hotel. Matt Clark put the bag over Nick's head and then, like, knocked him out and then just dragged him by his tennis shoes all the way down the hall of that unnamed Vegas hotel and then dragged him all the way out the street, put him in a cab, drove him to a warehouse. That's how that went down. Victoria says, well, it was great to see Malcolm on the screen. No one can match his cool, sexy charm and swagger. Phyllis was obviously a fan. Her eyes lit up, and she was so focused on him. You know, Phyllis and Malcolm were very good friends. They were tight even back in the day, you know, even before Michelle Stafford kind of took over the whole show. I mean, she and Malcolm had a friendship pretty early on. And so I was glad that they really made time to show that. And you're right. You could tell it was almost like she was like, I am not going to be left out of this. Diana says, I appreciated that Y&R gave us a flashback of Stephanie and Malcolm back in the day. I had stopped watching the show at the time, unfortunately, so it was great to see the characters in their younger days and how they got together. I believe this was the first time I've ever seen Vivica A. Fox as a very young woman. The actress is currently the queen of Lifetime movies, and she is in so many of them. I took the liberty of copy and pasting them. Okay, here's some titles for you. The Wrong Mr. Right, which is a great title, by the way, from 2021. The Wrong Real Estate Agent, The Wrong Wedding Planner, The Wrong House Sitter, The Wrong Child. This almost kind of seems like a series or something. Diana says, I've seen all of these. They often have a lot of holes in the storylines, but most of them are pretty entertaining to watch. I'm not sure why every single one has to have the title The Wrong, but whenever I see a title like that, Vivica A. Fox is going to be in it. Chatters should check them out if you ever seen any of them. Oh, and Brent says Vivica Fox was great as Larry David's house guest / love interest on Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what I know her from. I wasn't watching Y&R when she was on before. Well, I really appreciated the flashback too, I have to say. When it started to be clear that it was going there, I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. And I have to say, Malcolm, my goodness, the sparkle in his eyes, the length of his eyelashes, he has dark eyes, and yet they were like gleaming diamonds. Just staring at my soul, asking me to go out on a date with him, and I couldn't resist. He was so cute. He was so of his time. That's the thing that you have to appreciate about Malcolm, and I talked about this in my Malcolm Retro recap. It's not just that Shamar Moore is hot, because he is, we all know it. He was at exactly the right place on daytime TV at exactly the right time. He was what daytime needed in 1993, 1994 to make it more hip, to make it appeal to the current audience. And it worked. I mean, that's about the time that I started watching the show. I was watching when Stephanie was on, but I don't remember her at all. I mean, I was squinting like, I don't recognize her face even in the least. She really wasn't on the show for very long. It was very short-lived. It was not a major part, which is what kind of makes it perfect to bring her back now. But Vivica A. Fox is beautiful. And by the way, I kind of think she looks better now. Not gonna lie. I loved the green suit that she was wearing, but I know I'm not alone. Naomi says Holden's mom had a crooked hemline on her green jacket pantsuit, but it's less noticeable than Victoria's white jacket. I'm gonna get some scissors and see if I can freshen up my fashion sweatshirts. I loved the suit. I saw some other people who just don't like the asymmetrical look, but I loved the suit. More importantly, I loved the emerald jewelry that she had on all around it. It was like every little, it was a perfect ensemble because she had on like the emerald necklace, and I think she had on emerald rings. It just, something about it was so completely pulled together. I thought she looked gorgeous. Well, Russell asked the question of the week here. How many other children has Malcolm fathered in Genoa City? We may never know. That is the question, isn't it? How many more? I suspect many, many more. He is the father of Genoa City. Oh, we're getting there. Now, we got to get to this because T. Nicole says, I like that this Malcolm storyline is happening purely for creating me to have sympathy toward Holden. I can't imagine for him to find out about his biological father and then minutes later having to meet him. And then you need to be a donor? And then, oh, by the way, Lily's your half-sister? That is a lot in the span of, what, an hour in soap time? I hope we see Holden slowly process the emotions of these revelations, as at this point, there's no way he can even truly allow what he was told to sink in. Yeah, it was a lot being thrown at Holden real fast. Naomi says, I thought Claire looked very pretty today, and I liked the way she was helping Holden process his feelings. You know what? Claire is so gorgeous. Just gorgeous. The hair was right. The face, the makeup is so good. But I don't trust her. I think that she is getting close to Holden because I think she still wants to know. I think she's fighting with herself. I think she wants to get close to him. I think she wants him. But she knows he's hiding a secret, and she can't allow herself to get over that hump, get over that edge to really embrace him until she knows what it is. So it's like even when she's there comforting him, I feel like it's genuine, but I also feel like it's loaded. Russell says last time we saw Claire see Holden walk by, she was telling Nikki that she wanted to do something dangerous. And she looked like a starving woman staring at a piece of prime beef. Prime beef. Practically drooling. She wants him. She does want him. But she can't allow herself to have him. That's what I think. Robin says, oh my, Holden Novak has skyrocketed to my #1 favorite soap hunk. I like how he has a sweet, vulnerable side. And I even like him with Claire now. He will be much more attractive to her now. Will he take the Winters name and come fully into the family business? Of course he will. I bet Devon is going to be very jealous. Kyle will be jealous too because now Holden has more to offer Claire. Hopefully Audra won't blackmail Holden now that he'll be in power, Power family and company. And Malcolm sure was a cutie back in the day. Oh, those eyes. That's interesting. Will Kyle be threatened by this now that Malcolm is now that Holden is kind of part of one of the core power families? I mean, does that change his cred? Does that change his appeal? And I don't know if I can see Devon exactly being threatened by it, but for some reason I just feel like Nate would be. Nate's kind of the oddball out here. I mean, Malcolm was kind of Nate's surrogate dad, and he's the only one that didn't turn out to actually be fathered by him. Sue W says, yay on the Holden love. I've liked him since he came to Genoa City, initially because he's hot. But I never much understood why viewers haven't seemed to like him much. I don't think he was ever particularly smarmy, even with his Vesper game. Nor did I think he ever overstepped with Claire. Shiny head never bothered me. Yeah, he killed a guy, hid the body, kept the secret. Well, that pesky mess will have to be dealt with at some point. But no malice, he meant well. He can defend me anytime. I like this new development for Holden. Yeah, I mean, in the scheme of everything that people have done, I mean, you know, accidentally killing the guy and burying his body, you know, I mean, meh. Lily accidentally killed Hillary, and she went to jail for it. I just don't think the same's gonna be the same for Holden. But yeah, I can forgive it. He's hot enough. Victoria says, I can't imagine what Holden is going through. Bam, his mom just laid it on him so that he could save someone. Then in the next breath, he finds out this person is his biological father. Nathan Owens is doing an amazing job looking gobsmacked. His mom is outrageously insensitive. She just wants him to put this info in a drawer and then get down to the lab and see if he's a match. Malcolm was kind and understanding to Holden, even though he was blindsided too. This new information adds a great nuance and wonderful opportunities for the character Holden. Holden in the past seemed desperate to succeed in business and romance, and now he has a bigger family to lean on and the winter's business to find his place. Do you think Stephanie was being insensitive? That's an interesting question too, because I mean, she's a doctor and she's really concerned about getting Malcolm's treatment started ASAP. And so she didn't have time to fully cushion this blow. She just said, son, here's the deal with it, and we'll take it from there. And then at the end of all of it, he's not even a match. I wonder if Stephanie is going to stay around to deal with the fallout, because I think we all know Malcolm sure won't. He's already headed off, and I think we still see Stephanie a little bit next week. I actually like her. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of the hurriedness of it all probably was based around, you know, we've got Shamar Moore for, what, a day, to film for a day, so we got to cram this in. But I'd actually really like to see more of Stephanie and more of her sticking around for the fallout when it comes to Holden. Gary says, can Lily be redeemed now that she has shown her vulnerable side? Yeah, Gary. I mean, last week at this time, Lily was persona non grata. She let her family think she was kidnapped. She went along with Victor's plan. Teaming up with Victor alone put her on the bad girl list. And now she has had all these tears. You know, we are reminded that Lily is a cancer survivor. We're reminded that Lily loves her family. She even had her discussions about feeling like she was not able to save Neil. And so she wished more than anything that she would be able to save Malcolm. I mean, that's all really heavy. And I think you're right, Gary, that it was kind of meant to switch the perspective on Lily very quickly. Like, we got to cover up, you know, the fact that, you know, we had this, you know, bizarre kidnapping that, you know, really took place completely off screen and had a real world reason behind it. But Russell says, why is Lily making Malcolm's illness all about her? I think that's really a great question and a great perspective, Russell, because it did come off that way, you know, just really upset that she couldn't help him. And I think it created that great dialogue about Neil. I mean, so it all sort of served the purpose. I mean, the why is exactly what Gary said. It's, I think, more about redeeming Lily's character. You know, we needed to show her doing that. I mean, Lily's the character that's going to be staying on the show, not Malcolm. Lily's the one that's been on the show for decades, not Holden. So, I mean, I think that was really the point of that scene and Lily's reaction. But T. Nicole says Malcolm's transplant might be what brings Kane and Lily closer for him to comfort her through this. Ah, ding ding. Yes, you have hit on it exactly, T. Nicole. The other thing about this, the other reason this is all happening, the other effect of Malcolm's illness is that it reunites Lily and Kane. Y&R wanted to do that. I mean, they wanted to do that when they recast the role. Then Crystal Khalil got pregnant and was like, we got to take like a couple months before we can really even start to build it. And now she's back and they're starting in this place of anger. He doesn't trust, we flipped it. She wasn't trusting him before. Well, now he's not trusting her. But we've got what is the spark there, the descent between them. And that's what's going to flip it into the full-on Lily and Kane reunion. You know, it's true. He's going to forgive her and she's going to lighten him up. Russell says, wow, Kane has lost it. Whoever that guy was that he fired really dodged a bullet train. That was probably one of the best scenes of the week right there. In a week of great scenes, that was one of my favorites. Number one, because I was just happy to see Kane having a scene partner that wasn't his phone. And number two, because yeah, I mean, Kane totally fired that guy for being ethical. Kane wanted this guy to find out a way to steal other companies. And he said, I need a company. Help me steal one. I just need to steal one real quick. And the guy was like, yeah, no. And so Kane just fired him. No questions asked. You're done now. I personally feel like he had it coming. I feel like the briefcase-bearing business guy had it coming. I mean, does he not realize what show he is on? Well, my friends, I think that is a fun Y&R chat. I think we had a good one. I don't know. This one it just felt good. I think, you know me, I get a little excited when I see Malcolm. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's just like one of those things. It's such a little treat as a longtime fan and as a fan who started watching the show at around the time that he came on. So, you know, I'm a 90s Y&R baby, right? I didn't watch in 1973. So I've had to piece a lot of this together, you know, and just from talking to Y&R fans and, you know, look, I'm a baby. I've watched the show for 30 years. But I'm still considered a baby. I mean, just like Peter Bergman is still not Jack. He's the new Jack. Peter Bergman's the new Jack. I'm still a Y&R fan baby because I started watching in 93. But yeah, I mean, those are the stories that connected most with me, the 90s style stories, which were really Bill Bell at the end of his writing career with The Young and the Restless. He I think probably had coalesced everything into you know, this beautiful working engine, and that's why again I want to encourage you guys to check out my Y&R chat retro recap about how Y&R got started, because it really does center a lot around Bill Bell and, interestingly, Lee Phillip Bell, who's kind of this unsung hero behind the scenes who really shaped what The Young and the Restless would become about. I find it all very inspiring. It was very much part of the inspiration as I set out to write the Fauna and the Flora. I know a couple of you guys picked up the book this week. Thank you so much. That audiobook is the best listen. I think you'll really, really enjoy the audiobook version, although, you know, flipping through pages is also very sensory and very cool, and there are some nice little twisty elements inside the paperback edition or the ebook edition, but the audiobook has the song, which is a big deal. And for those of you who are fans of Traci, my character Macy has the triumphant part of the book. She's a core character. She doesn't come in until a little later, maybe Act 3, but once you get her, you understand her, you're connected to her, and she, don't want to spoil, delivers the song. She has a very triumphant moment delivering the song. All voiced by me, all sung by me, narrated by me, written by me. If you have a chance to check that out, I really recommend it. You can get there through restlessforest.com. YRChat.com is the website too, where you can go to see photos about Y&R from the week, the poll, the quote, the conversation, the extras. It's all there. And I will be back next Sunday to chat with you again about my favorite show. I think it's probably your favorite show too. Still hanging on there. I know you guys like hanging on there, probably for some people since the very beginning. And I would especially love to know how you guys who have been watching since day one react to my recap about how Y&R got started. And I'd really love to get your perspectives on the time, or it's really a retrospective on the time that Y&R first came out. Not just about the stories. In fact, it's not about Brad Elliott. It's really more about the timing of the show, the legacy of the show. And so if you have a chance, leave some comments on that video too, because I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. And come back next Sunday. I will see you guys then. Oh, I love ya. Bye.